Myself, Andy Grant.
Just before we start, actually, I wanted to go through a few things. So, firstly, I had a bit of an idea over the past week. We've now got sort of 72 reviews on iTunes. Just before we talk about bits and pieces, and I mean, for example, this is the first one, right? Never been into a podcast, but listened to Andy's story a couple of times when he's been into my work. So got involved in this podcast a few days ago, and I've listened to them all already, including the latest John Bishop. Already waiting for the next one by Ash LFC. Blah, 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 blah.
Boom.
So, if you leave a review, put your name in the title bit if you can. We'll read it out on maybe the next one or the one out extra. And if you're a smart ass as well, then if you've got a business, put your business name in there.
Yeah, we can plug that all day.
So
that's why you're the brains of this little thing, Tom.
And also, some housekeeping is the YouTube channel as well. So we put now, or including this as well, it's being recorded now, 2 cameras. We put all of this onto the YouTube channel. So all the interviews are, obviously, if you want to listen in the car and bits and pieces, then you can, by all means.
If you want to see, am I as handsome in real life? Then yeah, you can.
We'll see your front room with your Liverpool.
We'll see the memorabilia. Yeah, we're not as privileged to have an office, kind of like Joe Rogan set up just yet. So we are in my kitchen with my Jamie Carragher and Xabi Alonso memorabilia up. So yeah, you can view us on YouTube.
And then also the legitpodcast.com. And then our email address, legitpodcast@gmail.com as well. So if you want to send us any emails, bits and pieces, guest recommendations, which we've had a few other bits and pieces as well, then just send us an email through that as well. So that's the housekeeping out of the way.
Probably good just to go on from that then and just say a massive thank you, because I know we've just been talking about them before we started, just how many messages we've both got. And it's been amazing to see the feedback from it. Absolutely buzzing.
100%.
We said from the start we'd do it even if we didn't have no one listening, but thankfully people are. They're recommending it to friends, they're listening to it on the way to work, out running, all kinds, and people are really laughing out loud in the gym. I've had a few of them, and just people being fascinated by the stories.
Yeah.
And
because it is, I think one of the things that I enjoy about this is that, like, it's just an open conversation. We never have any real, like I mean, today we've got a few things in our mind, but we've never really got anything that specifically questions written down that we want to ask the guests and bits and pieces. So, like, I really just like that openness, and I hope it comes through. I really do, and I hope, like, there's, we never try and censor ourselves. So I suppose it's good and bad, but
yeah. I mean, but a great example. When John Bishop turned up, I've had a few people say to me, how does that work with John Bishop? Do you have to go somewhere? I said, no, he just fucking turned up at my house.
Yeah.
I had the dog locked upstairs. He come in, like, all right, mate, it all right?
Yeah.
Just come and sat at my kitchen table. Just fucking thinking, fuck me, John Bishop's sitting there in my house.
Yeah, it was mad, that. It was mad.
Do you want me to put the kettle on, John? And that was it. And I didn't know what we were going to talk about, didn't know anything. Yeah. And then it seemed to go really well. Yeah.
And also, one of the things, I think I mentioned it to you after, no wonder people who do similar things to us, who are comics, do incredibly well, because they can just talk. They suddenly go on different tangents, left, right, and centre. They can talk about everything and anything in such a way that, like, I think's fantastic.
I mean, we mentioned, didn't we? A lot of Joe Rogan's podcast guests are comedian friends of his.
Yeah.
And that's no surprise, because, again, the comedians can just start reeling off different stories, they tell it in a certain way. And again, that's why it's a good idea to go and watch on YouTube, because sometimes, I'm not sure if you're listening to it, how it would look, but John Bishop, when he was telling some stories, I was laughing before he even got to the punchline, because I'm looking at his face, and it was funny how he was telling it, and his mannerisms. So it's another reason to watch on YouTube. But yeah, again, that free-flowing conversation, not knowing where the conversation's going to go, that's exciting as well, because you don't know what you're going to get from guests either. Yeah, and then
so like the past 2 weeks, I've felt a bit like BBC News 24 darting around the country with 2 video cameras and three microphones and a whole setup. So after this episode, I mean, we've got Harry Finlay, who you introduced to me.
There's a reason why we're laughing.
Yeah, fuck me. Yeah.
So Harry Finley, I'll start and then you can tell everyone why.
But listen,
I was a bad person.
before you say it, before you sort of give context, I'll give like pre-context. Is that he's a really, really nice guy. I'd love to have him on again. Actually,
we need to, definitely. So how it come about was I was out Christmas shopping, and I saw a book called Gambling for Life. Now I like a little flutter now and again, and so does my dad. So I thought I'd get my dad this present, and got him the book, and I started having a read of it and thought, wow, this guy is really interesting. And then I thought he'd be great to have as a guest, and he's famously lost 2.5 million, or he famously bet 2.5 million on the All Blacks to win the Rugby World Cup, and he cashed out and ends up losing 1.9 million in the end. So that's the kind of his little tale of a story, but he's won over 25 million. So I said to you, listen, mate, this guy, he's won over 25 million gambling. He'd be great. So I used a few contacts that I knew, got his mobile number, and he straight away was super cool. Said, Andy, it sounds like a great idea. You can come and stay at mine. So I was like, Tom, bingo, go down to Newton Abbey, boom. And I was amazing, money. Just opened his house up to us.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. We done the podcast, which hopefully people enjoy it. But he was a little bit sick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, shellfish.
He'd had shellfish the night before, and he warned us, didn't he, at the start?
Yeah, look, I'm not feeling 100%. I've never. I mean, look, I'm not a journalist or anything, so I don't do like interviews constantly. But I've never had someone sort of be ill. But so, like, you could see. I can't imagine the feeling of just two people who you've never met in your house feeling absolutely crap. 2 video cameras, microphones all around you, and that feeling of like it's like anxiety because like you know when you. So I remember flying to Bali. It's slightly off topic. I remember on a flight right back from Bali to Manchester 2 years ago. Bali to Qatar to Manchester.
Right, big time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was economy. So, and I got on that flight and I was feeling fucking awful. I'd felt awful for the past 24 hours. I just felt just crap. Got on that plane. We were taxiing, so you've got your seatbelt on, and you know that suddenly it's like a mini panic attack because you know you're gonna throw up like big style.
Is this travel sickness or you?
No, just I ate something dodgy, and that like panic of like it's like because people around you, you're not in your own home. When you're in your own home and you're ill, like I've thrown up on the carpet, fucking just nice. Over. You don't care, do you? But when people are around,
some people do care.
Yeah. But when people are around, it adds that like another layer of.
Which end was it coming out of? Or was it one of those where you don't know?
I wasn't big time because I was in economy, and you've got like 3 seats on your left. You know, one of those big planes. You got like 3 seats on your left, 4 in the middle, 3 on the right. Mm-hmm. I was like on the right by the window, so I had to get past 3 people to then tried to open the sick bag. Fucking couldn't open the sick bag. I've never opened a sick bag in my life. Ran to the back of the plane. The air stewardess shoved me in one of the toilets. Threw up inside the toilet, around the toilet, on the sick bag on my hand. Handed it back to her. I just put my hand out.
Nice of you.
Yeah. So I think the point I'm trying to get at is when the feeling that Harry Finley must have felt during that interview must have been fucking awful.
Well, we went for about 45 minutes, didn't we?
So we went for 45 minutes, and
Tom's going to try and make me out to be like a bad person here, and it wasn't exactly as he's going to explain.
And so he said halfway through, look, like I need to finish. I need to just. Look, I'm not feeling great at all. I need to get out. And then he went out.
He was thrown up outside.
Throwing up. I mean, I don't
like
even know.
Projectile vomiting outside.
He came back in, and he literally. I'm trying to think of the film, but I can't think of the film that reminded me of it. He opened the door, and his face, like all the colour had gone out of his face. He was sweating. I mean, like I've never been ill off prawns, but it didn't look great. And then you said, didn't you?
No,
I said. Listen, it's all on record, so we've all got.
Okay, well, maybe we should put this out and let people make the.
So I said, mate, we need, like, you look fucking awful. Like, are you all right? Because you said initially you thought...
I thought he was going to have a heart attack or something. I was fucking shit myself.
And I said, look, listen, we need to pack, like, I said, listen, we need to pack it in. Like, this is stupid now. Like, just have some water and
yes,
blah, blah.
But then he said, no, we can't just end it like that. Just ask me do 5 more minutes or something. Ask me a couple of questions.
Let's do about 10 more, maybe 15 more minutes. I was thinking, you can't ask him that, mate. He's just been thrown up all that side. You cannot ask him to do another 15 minutes.
No, we done like another 5 minutes with him, because he is, joking aside, it wasn't great timing for the podcast, and hopefully people still enjoy it, but we will have to get him on again, because I was just so determined to ask him so many questions, because he was fascinating. He was larger than life character, the way the stories he's telling. But yeah, despite Tom trying to throw me down the river, I wasn't trying to pressure an ill man to speak to us. But it was a shame it got cut short, really, because I could have spoke to him all day. Yeah.
Well, you see, like, and I said it in the podcast interview, the only ever time I ever bet is during the Grand National. Like, I've never, ever, ever been into betting, ever. I don't know why, because I quite like the idea of, like, some of the wins that you've got.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm a gambler from since I was, 15 or something, 14, 15, so I had a lot more in common with him. But it was good for you, because you were asking the questions that someone who doesn't gamble would ask. And I thought it went really well, so we're definitely going to have to have one again. Yeah,
I've never, ever been in... There's just something about it. I think it's the fact that I just don't like losing. And that... I remember a time going to Is it Wetherby Race Course? Yeah, Wetherby, yeah. I was in uni. There was about... Oh, God. There was about 12 of us. It was me, my girlfriend, and a few other friends or whatever. Went there for a friend's birthday, actually. Rocked up, and at uni you're skint anyway, but rocked up, and everyone around me was winning, and I was just getting so fucking frustrated with it. I was just, sometimes he actually mentioned that bitterness of people. If you went to Vegas, you've been to Vegas, and you see people who don't need the money winning big time, and you're like, fucking hell. Why does he have to win? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I am that sort of... That Harry Finley doesn't get like that.
No.
Which I think... I would say that's completely the opposite. I reckon probably 95% of the population who gamble... I'm making it up here, but I reckon don't feel like that. Feel the way that I feel of... If you see someone who doesn't need the money... Like, literally does not need the money.
It's a little bit of bitterness, that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
My pet hate when it comes to gamblers, when people say, I never win. And I go, yeah, but do you ever bet? And they say, well, no, but that's because I never win. So if you've only had 1 or 2 bets and you've not won, then you can't really say, I never win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least have a go, and then if you are shit, then you obviously don't win.
Yeah. No, but I've just always... Something about... That one time I thought, I'd fucking never do it, and it ruined my day.
Yeah, we touch on it, don't we? That normally the first time you have a bet, if you lose, you'll probably never bet again. But if you win, you'll keep on going.
Yeah. When did you start gambling then?
I think it was about 15. Yeah, and I had a win. I had a paper round, so I always had my own money growing up. I had 2 paper rounds, was on £32 a week.
Were you on £32 a week?
Yeah, it was £16 per paper round.
Which, did you do a morning thing and then a...
Morning and afternoon, yeah.
Who gets a paper in the afternoon?
The Echo, Liverpool
right.
Echo. So, and then another round came up and I just jumped on that. So I was, thinking I was a millionaire at bloody 13 or something, 14. And then about 15, I used to have a go with the football coupons. And this one time, I think I'd bet about £10, like a third of my wages, £10 or £15 maybe. And anyway, come in. And I won probably about £100, I think, or something. And... just treated all my mates to a day at the snooker hall, just buying all the cokes and
get them in, boys.
Yeah, had an American pool table for about 3 hours for everyone.
Okay.
And so yeah, that started the slippery slope.
What do you reckon overall then? So, can you tell exactly? I suppose you couldn't, because you tie in all the race days and things like that. But if you looked at your account. Oh. Is there a way of saying like a profit and loss or that?
Yeah, there is now, but I mean over the years I don't know, because you use different betting accounts and stuff. But now, after I had a problem, because that's the other thing I think, which is an important thing. Anyone who's read my book, there was a time in my life where I did have a problem and I gambled a lot more, and it was ridiculous. And I was gambling when I was drinking as well, and it all went terribly wrong for me. Now I'm in control of it. I mean, it'd be interesting to speak to someone like Tubes about this, but when we spoke to Tubes and him and his addiction to alcohol, he couldn't even have one drink.
No.
Whereas now I can go and throw £10 on a horse and I'm okay. You know, I don't feel the need to go and empty my savings and throw it all on. So I don't think gambling's the same in the way it is with alcohol. So I still like having a bet now. I'm just very much more in control and it's more proportionate. So I still like gambling now, but I wouldn't even know. You know what? I could even be up at my time.
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
But Harry Finley, he said when he wrote that book, Gambling for Life, he had to kind of cross-reference all his wins and losses for the book, and he's up, he said, about 28 million.
Oh yeah,
but the thing I liked about him is, I think in a bit of the book, he says, the man who made millions and spent every penny. And that's how he lived his life. You know, he was treating everyone all the time. He used to love watching a lot of live sports. So he was going to, you know, all the tennis finals, the golf championships, the Champions League finals.
Yeah.
So he was making this money, but he was having a good time spending it as well.
Did you do the same?
Yeah. Yeah, fucking hell, I love it.
I know, yeah, that's the thing. That I think I asked this question to him as well. Like, when you... Because I tell a lie, I did win once or twice on some of the races at Wetherby, and it didn't feel like real money. It's just like yeah.
Well, that's the problem now, isn't it? Because you can do it so much on your phone. You know, you can be out having a beer, and maybe you've had one too many, your judgment's a bit off, and straight away you can just deposit £100 onto your phone, and then you can gamble it. And it's not like a guarantee. If you had £100 in your hand, you wouldn't just gamble it on something.
No.
And then obviously the roulette machines and things, which is like the crack cocaine they call them, don't they? So it makes it a lot harder. It makes it a lot easier to lose your money because, like you've just said, it doesn't feel like real money.
What about because you've been to Vegas once or twice, haven't you? What's it like there? I've never been, so
you should go. But not just because of the gambling, but it's just an amazing place.
But like in terms of the gambling, like what is there like? Because I remember seeing a Louis Theroux documentary about a mattress guy. Have you seen that documentary?
The one with the old woman in.
Yeah. Who?
The mattress guy. So he gets paid. They do all that. Yeah.
But like, is there there's loads of those machines, isn't there, knocking around? And are they the ones you're on about, the crack cocaine like of?
No, I mean the UK. You know, just the roulette machines.
Oh right, sorry, I'm with you.
Yeah. But Vegas, I mean, what's your opinion of Vegas? Just what you see in the movies type thing?
Well, I was going to go on my stag do there in May, but it's a long story. People pulled out, excuses, you know, these groups that everyone said, Vegas, just because I wanted to just get on the plane and just go, Vegas, baby, let's go. And so, so I was going to go on my stag do. It's changed now to Lisbon, but I've just always wanted to go. But I have heard that you need like minimum 4 or 5 grand.
You're not. Yeah, it depends how long you go for. But funny you should say about the stag do. A funny story, and I think my mate Michael, who now lives in America, will listen to this. And like you say, it's very difficult to get a stag do in Las Vegas. And anyway, a funny story. My mate says to me once, he says, "Oh mate, I've got something to say to you. I've got something to tell you." And I said, "Oh, go on, what?" And he says, I've been dating this girl." And I was thinking, I thought he was single. I went to school with this guy, and he said, "No, I've been dating this girl from America." And I was thinking, how the fuck does that work? Do you know what I mean? And he said, "No, we FaceTime each other or Skype, whatever, every night, and I've been doing it for about a year or something." I was like, bloody hell, this is a bit heavy, this. And anyway, he said, "But it's not going to happen because of she lives over there, and it's just it's difficult to go and see each other and stuff." Anyway, long story short, he ends up going out there. She ends up coming over here for a bit, just 2 weeks holiday at a time. And then in the end, he went and moved there, and he now lives over there in Tulsa. So when he was getting married, he said, "Why don't all the lads meet me in Vegas? We'll have 3 days in Vegas, and then we go to Oklahoma, Tulsa, and watch him get married." So it was a bit easier to kind of organise a stag do because the onus was on you watch him get married as well.
Yeah.
So there's 15 of us that went over to Vegas to watch him get married, and it was amazing. It was absolutely like unreal.
Did you gamble a lot? Yeah.
No, not that time. I didn't know because it was just with all the lads, and we just partied a lot and drank a lot and sunbathed and all the pool parties, which was cool. A funny story on the way home. Everyone's hungover, and
that's what I imagine I imagine at the airport setting off, everyone's, because they're usually like a late AM flight over to America, and I just imagine the plane just being just a little bit just crazy, and then on the way back, people are like
well, to be fair, any stag do it's like that, isn't it? At the whole but this one particular time, we're sitting there all waiting for our flight. Now, people may judge me on this, but I don't give a fuck. In airports, standard rule for me is always wear shorts, because you don't know what little upgrade you might get.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, always. So anyway, I'm in the airport flying home. All the lads are there with me, and we're all sitting around waiting to get called. But you've got to be clever how you do it. So I walked up to the attendant and said, "Excuse me, can I just check my ticket to make sure it's an aisle seat? And if not, try to change it for one. All it is I've lost my leg, and ideally you can just try and stretch the leg out, take the leg off and stretch it out." And he said, "I'll just check for you, sir." So he's having a little look, and I just dropped in the whole all it is sorry to be a pain, but I was blown up in Afghanistan, you see, and it's just caused, and just got into conversation with him. So then straight away he says, "Oh, what happened, what you were in?" I said, "I was in the Marines and this and that." And only quite subtly, just drop it in. And he said, "Let me see what I can do." And then he gives me the ticket back and says, "Thanks for your service." And that's it. So I go and sit down, and I didn't really notice any major changes on my ticket. When I give my ticket on, when I get on the plane, he's only put me up into first class, hasn't he?
Okay, no.
So I'm sitting in the front row. All the lads get sent back into economy. And the air hostess comes round and she's giving me champagne, and I said, "Just send one glass of champagne back to the lads." So all the lads are sitting there in economy, and with one glass of champagne between them all. And I had the time of my life. So my Vegas hangover wasn't as bad, because I just carried on drinking on the flight home.
First class,
living at large.
Okay, no.
So you got to play the light card. Play the light card all day long.
Mate, I'm surprised it worked. Well, yeah.
In America, they're really patriotic, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I've had nice things happen to me in the UK, but I think we just show it different. It's just a different culture, isn't it? We're not as outgoing with how patriotic we are and stuff and all that.
What about people? If you
basically the moral of the story, is if you want to go to Vegas, take me with you, and we can go in first class together.
What about in the UK, if people are, say you got your shorts on, right, and people can see the leg? What about people, it's obviously not like first class things, but what about people, I don't know, open doors or I don't know, just little things like that?
Yeah, but it does my head in a little bit.
Does it?
I done a speaking gig the other day, and then a woman opened the door for me, and she said, "Are you okay with the stairs?" I was like, "Fuck me, love. Are you kidding me? I'm about to do a motivational talk about climbing mountains and running 10Ks faster than you, and you're asking me if I'm okay with the stairs." So yeah, people are nice and respectful about it, but I kind of rate that. But it's like, if you see a guy with no legs, you're going to look at him, aren't you? Or you see someone with, I don't know, a big scar on the face, or I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, first time you saw someone in a wheelchair or something, you look at them, don't you?
Yeah.
It's not like this weird thing where, people are staring at me, oh my God. I would have looked at someone if they had one leg. So it doesn't bother me people looking at me or anything like that. And a lot of the time, especially in Liverpool or up north, I find people are a lot more open and friendly. So
really?
You're sitting there on the train or the bus, and someone will just say, "Do you want
to sit down?"
Yeah, or they'll say, "How did that happen? Is everything all right?" And you just get into conversation. And I know not everyone with an amputation or with an injury would like that, but I'm a people person, so I'll happily answer anyone's question. And
then just slip in the book, listen, my book's on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, just follow me on social media. I can send you a signed one. I mean, depending on what day you catch me on will depend what story you get, whether you get the bitten by a shark or whatever. But no, it's I don't mind it at all. I don't know. Would you ever ask anyone if you've seen them? Or at least get into conversation? Do you think?
No, I wouldn't. No. I'm quite a confident person. I'll go and talk to anyone, but I just...
You wouldn't say, like, do you mind if I ask what happened?
I wouldn't know. No, I wouldn't.
I think curiosity get the better of me. It depends what situation, I guess.
Yeah.
If you were on a train for a long period of time, like, maybe I would.
No, no, I definitely wouldn't. I just, yeah. In those situations, I always keep myself to myself anyway. I don't, you know.
I think, though, do you think there's something in that where if something's happened to you, you can relate a bit more, and maybe that's why I would? Because maybe I would have been like you before my injury, but you think, I think maybe now I've straight away got something I can come back with. So if I said, what happened to your leg, I could say, this would happen to me or something, or I don't know.
No, I wouldn't like to put, just focus, I don't know, maybe there's something in the back of my mind that thinks I wouldn't want to just focus on that one, you know, do you know what I mean?
No.
I wouldn't want to focus on, like, for example, your leg. Just, I don't know, I just think it's a bit, I just, if I saw, it's like if I saw someone on crutches, why did you do that? Why has that happened?
Maybe I'm just nosy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'd never do that ever. No. And even at airports or anything like that, if I saw, funny enough, slightly off topic, but I when you just mentioned airports, and I thought about it. I travel a lot. We work at airports and stuff like that. And I'm always at Manchester Airport. For example, there's a flight I always catch, the Brussels flight, which is at 6:10 in the morning, right?
Oh, your fan club's going to start getting that now.
And whenever I arrive there, I get there at 4 a.m, go through security. I'm always sweating at security. I don't know what it is.
Why?
I don't know what it is about me.
You don't look dodgy at all.
No, I know. No, I
it's
don't.
like the model citizen walking through.
I get all my little plastic. I get my little clear bag. I get my vape stuff, wangle my vape stuff in there. Everything's legit, just because I don't want to be. I've had it before, and like I don't want anything to do with it. So, yeah, go through security. Like I'm not just saying this because we record, but honestly, there's something about it that scares the shit. Just because I don't know what it is.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
So I having fucking one leg and getting what's it called? Bloody padded down literally. It doesn't bother me at all. But I was on a stag do once in Poland, and they literally whisked me off 5 minutes down the corridor, got me in a room, and I thought they were going to do something else to me. Put it that way. That's how they told me to take the leg off. They were looking through. Yeah. Normally they just pad me down. It's all right, but I think it was Poland. I think. Oh yeah, they walked me 5 minutes away, took me leg off, went out the room with me leg. I'm sitting there with one leg.
Scanned it.
Yeah, fuck knows what they've done to it. But I'm thinking, if they don't come back, this is a joke. Like, what can I do? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, no. Yeah, no. So I ate it. So I go through, security, and then rock up in that main bit. It's always Terminal 1.
Are you trying to meet someone here? No. Give the time of the flight, the terminal. What time you're arrived?
No, this is just the maths that I do in my head. Rock up, and in that terminal there's like an upstairs bit in Manchester Airport, isn't there? So there's like, as you walk in, there's loads of chairs, there's like a bar as you come out of security, you walk through security, there's like a bar in front, and then there's an escalator which goes up, and I think there's a bar, the giraffe bar on the right hand side.
Actually, yeah, I do. Yeah.
And whenever I rock up there at 4 a.m, there's all, and I can't even stomach a crumpet, right? There's people on there on stag do's who are just nailing down the beers left, right, and centre.
You've got to do that though.
But at 4, listen,
your stag do's gonna be awful by the sounds of it. By the way, as soon as you get to an airport, you've always got to have a beer first.
At 4 a.m.
Yeah, whatever time. Is that just me?
Yeah,
that's not just. Well, it's not
4
just
a.m.
me. My mates as well. That's not just me.
Oh God.
Really?
Yeah.
Mate, your stag do is going to be boring.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, well, I went to Amsterdam with my missus not so long ago, and then it was just fucking mate. I don't know if you've been to Amsterdam, haven't you? Jesus Christ, that plane. I've never been to Ibiza, but I've heard the Ibiza plane's bad.
Yeah, I don't Ibiza last summer. That was good.
Funny enough, a friend of my dad's is a pilot, right? And he sometimes does that. I'm sure it's Manchester to Ibiza. Anyway, one time, he just could not concentrate with the noise in the back.
What, the pilot?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So it was outrageous. And
I think at this point we should do a little call out if anyone's got any ideas for your stag do, Tom, to make it a bit more exciting.
Yeah.
If you're struggling at the thought of drinking a beer at 4 a.m. in an airport,
oh God,
I hope the lads have got something planned for you.
It's Lisbon as well, yeah.
Any ideas then? Email thelegedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
For anything Tom should do.
Yeah.
Because he looks to be a bit of a weak, spindly individual that maybe if he can't stomach a pint at 4 a.m.
Yeah. So yeah.
If I was your best man, I'd be hammering you.
Yeah. So
You'd
anyway,
hate me at the end.
Anyway, let's move on. So this pilot, so he got up and he thought, right. So he put his cap on, he had all his, the normal uniform, and just got up in front of at the front of the plane and just said, "Listen, I've got the right now to turn this plane round. If you don't shut up, I'm turning this plane right round now." Sure enough,
is this when it's in the air?
Yeah. I didn't realise
I would shout, who the fuck's driving it, mate?
Yeah, I didn't realise how bad it is, yeah. But
why are we talking about
I've no idea.
planes?
We were actually going to talk about gambling. I think
that was it, the Vegas gambling thing.
Yeah.
We don't want to give too much away for the Harry Finley one, do we?
No. Coming back to that, actually, obviously you still gamble now, but why do you think, what was it that when you were having your bad time that made you, was it you were just chasing the winnings? You just constantly chasing the winnings and thought, I'm trying to recoup my losses, or was it?
Well, yeah, it was that at some point, but I think it's a bigger picture. I think with most illnesses or addictions or bad times that you have, it's not just one thing. So my relationship with Alba's mum was breaking down. I was struggling with the transition of being out the Marines. I was feeling like a fraud doing the motivational speaking. That was getting me down, even though, again, I was going doing these motivational talks. It was fantastic, but then I just felt like a fraud because my life back home was in turmoil, and then that was making me feel even worse. I didn't have no structure around my life, so I was drinking a lot. We'd go for a beer on a Sunday with my mates to watch the football, and then when they were getting off at a sensible hour, I had nothing to be up for on the Monday, so I'd stay out a bit longer. And then I wasn't in the gym, I wasn't in any kind of physical routine, and then so it was gambling, and then if you did lose, it then would be to chase it and stuff, and then I was doing a lot of gambling when drunk, which is never a good idea. So yeah, I don't think there was one thing that led me towards gambling. I think it was a lot of things put together.
Chasing the high,
well, yeah, again a bit of that as well, because again I was used to being in the Marines. I was used to having this really cool job and it was exciting, and then all of a sudden you've not got nothing remotely exciting going on. You're just this injured soldier what are you bringing to society anymore? You've got no self-worth, and to get that kind of a buzz and adrenaline, in the Marines, where you've got people relying on you all the time, you're doing this job that you think's for the greater good, you're pushing yourself all the time, and then suddenly you've got none of that, but then you can gamble X amount of money and you're watching your horse or your football team win, and there's that adrenaline going to think, this,
come on,
yeah, all that. And again, but I do think for me personally, it was all added together, a lot of stuff going wrong, and it was just a big cocktail of disasters, to be honest.
What about like that? So you said there was a lack of structure, like during the day. What's the structure? How do you tend to structure your day now then?
Good question. So Alba helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, thankfully I see Alba 50-50. I've got a good relationship with him, mum. Thank God. And so I have a 50-50, which is good on the day. So when I've got her, it's obviously the school run twice a day, and then just entertaining her in the evenings. When I've not got her, I've got Oppo. So I'm out walking him morning and night. And then it's obviously just the normal boring stuff, the housework.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Washing, drying dishes, the bits and bobs like that. And then when it comes to work stuff, emails, motivational talks, getting them done, going out seeking work.
Yeah.
It sounds like I always think when I talk about what I actually do, it doesn't sound like a lot, but somehow it manages to take up all my time.
Yeah.
In the gym, tend to be in the gym maybe an hour, 2 hours a day.
What about, if you always, because I tried doing this a while ago. I couldn't hack it. I mean, I have to get up early sometimes with work and travel all over the show, but what about getting up at, say, 5 a.m, gym at 5:30, that Because I think when I did do that, and I did it for about, 4 or 5 weeks, I read this book called The Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've read it, by Hal Elrod. And basically what it was is get up at 5, and it was like a meditation for like half an hour to set your day up. How you want, write down what you're thankful for, blah, 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 blah. So I did that for about 4 weeks or so, something like that. And it did actually help to some extent. Just that getting up, knowing that I'm up earlier, and you haven't then got the distractions of everyone, people like calling you, people emailing you. You can take that time to yourself in the morning.
Yeah.
Which did help. But I think what I'm trying to ask is...
What made you stop doing that?
I was fucking knackered.
So you don't think it wasn't a long-term plan?
Yeah. I reckon if I'd... Yeah, discipline, I think, for me. I did it for 4 weeks and I thought, yeah, this is good, this. I've never been into all of that, like meditation sort of thing. I've had a few people on the Stories and Business podcast who've talked about it and how beneficial it has been. And like having a bit of a brain dump in the morning to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if brain dump's the right phrase, but it's like in the shower. I can't remember what there's a correct term. So a lot of people get brain dumps, ideas in the shower. And I do as well. It's like a really good time, the shower at night, where suddenly you think about things, but even when you're driving as well, sometimes there's some.
Yeah, I get a lot when I'm driving.
There's something to do with like an exercise that's quite numbing or something that your brain then feeds in other. I'm explaining it fucking dreadfully.
No, I can see what you mean though, and I do think something like that would be great, and especially coming from a military background, having structure like that is really good. For me personally, and I'm guessing, I'm surmising, but for a lot of people, that's difficult with kids, with a dog, for me. And I'd love to, if I never had Alba and I never had Oppo, I think I would get up, even if I didn't have to, at 6 o'clock every morning, get in the gym, out by the gym by 8, and then I'm doing this, doing that. But for me, one day I'm waking up, bloody Alba's in my bed, she's coming to my bed in the middle of the night, and I'm waking up with her, I'm doing her breakfast, I'm doing her hair, and then I might not get the gym, or I'll walk up at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then my day doesn't really start until 10 o'clock that day, where the next day, Alba won't be there, and I've got Oppo bloody waking me up, licking my face.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I'll walk him, and then, so I would love to have a routine like that, and I think a lot of people would, but I just think in this modern world, it's very difficult. I think you're in the minority if you're able to get up at 6, have half an hour to yourself, then get in the gym for an hour, then get to work, and then, that's a very idealistic way.
100%.
But I do think it would work.
Yeah. I also, I did it for 4 or 5 weeks or so. I'm trying to think if it helped or not. I've no idea.
I think structure does help, like 100%.
Oh yeah, structure, 100%. Yeah, cool.
Like it's got to help.
It's like at weekends. I think I've talked to you about this before.
Yeah, you said Sunday you hate.
Oh, I hate weekends.
Yeah, I remember you saying it's slow-paced day.
Slow-paced, and I'm trying to find things to do. As soon as I have to be, there's something about me where I have to be busy. If I'm not busy, I just like my world, there's like an anxiety's thrown around a lot, but like there is something that goes like, I'm not fulfilling my
your potential.
That is one thing. And also actually on that getting up early thing, the other thing is it's all well and good getting up at 5 a.m, but don't post a fucking photo every single day that you're up at 5 a.m or you're part of the 5 a.m club, or because like 2018 was the 5 a.m club. 2019 is the 4 a.m. club. Like, when does it end?
Yeah, a couple of points on that. So there's a guy who I started following on Instagram called Jocko Willink. Willick?
And he posts
It fucking pisses me off. Anyone who's not on it, get on him. What is it, Jocko
Willink?
Willink or something.
Jocko Willink.
He's an ex-US Navy SEAL. He looks hard as fuck.
He looks like an absolute weapon. I wouldn't tell him this to his face, so I hope he never ever listens to it. But yeah, every morning he posts a picture of his watch that says 4:30. I don't know what's he doing getting up at 4:30 or what he does at 4:30 in the morning. Mate, there's another one, 3:43 in the morning.
Why is he getting up at that time?
It's all well and good getting up at that time, but you'll be in bed by 7.
Yeah, and J.K. Rowling, she or Rowling, however you pronounce it, Harry Potter. She basically said something like that. You know, there was a meme or a tweet or something saying, you know, 90% of the world's most successful people get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she just said bullshit or something. She retweeted it or something, and it's this notion of you need to get up at 4, 5 in the morning to be successful is a load of shit.
Yeah.
In my eyes, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you lie in bed till 11 o'clock either, but getting up at a normal time. What time's a normal time for most people? 6, 7 o'clock or something?
Probably 6, 7, yeah.
I think get up, you know, and if you working out, I think is so important. So maybe you do need to get up that little bit earlier, 5:30 or 6, to get in the gym or to go for a run. Or if you're not going to do it on your. I know a lot of people's work are a lot more accommodating with giving them an hour and a half over lunch. A lot of the companies I go and do talks in now, they talk about health and safety and well-being, and the companies are putting a lot more time and effort into giving
employees
that time in the afternoon to go to the gym, because you know they can get home and they're not having to think about going to the gym. So yeah, get up early enough that you can either go to the gym in the morning or get yourself squared away for work. But yeah, bullshit in my opinion. Get up at 4 in the morning.
Talking about the gym, I think I said to you before, I've started going to the gym.
That's why you want to get us on camera, isn't it? So people can see a transformation.
See the transformation, yeah. And I'm not going to say it's made me feel so much better, because like, I'll be honest, it actually hasn't.
Really?
No.
Yeah, but I think you're quite a positive person anyway.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. No, it actually hasn't, no. One thing is, I hate talking about this, but I hate it when people, and I see them at the gym that I go to, of filming themselves at the gym.
Yeah, but in that defence argument, second, some people do it for form, so they're kind of, you know, if they're weightlifting or something, probably not, probably 90% don't, but there are some people who will video themselves to make sure that the technique's right when lifting.
Right, fair enough.
But I know what you mean. People are just, even taking selfies in the gym, I think's pretty lame.
Yeah. So,
but I've probably done it myself. Someone will be like, yeah, you've done it too. I don't do it anymore. Can I just say what you said with me saying that you're always quite happy? I done a talk for the Premier League last week, and a good friend of mine, Matt, he works for a leadership company called Theory. I do a bit of associate work for them. He told me, right, this is a true story, right? This is funny, this. So he told me that he listened to a presentation with a psychologist or a professor from America, and he was doing a study on post-traumatic stress disorder, and he was comparing US veterans to UK British soldiers.
All right.
And he was comparing the levels of PTSD, and he said, this professor, that in the UK the levels are nowhere near as bad as they are in America. In America, PTSD is rife. In the UK, it's nowhere near as bad. And you know what? Basically, they said one of the big reasons is that in the UK we're just quite miserable anyway. Like our society, we're quite, you know. I can't remember we mentioned this in the John Bishop one. We might have.
No.
Not know.
No.
And he said basically, you know, Americans are like, woo, like really happy, and they're really positive about loads of things, and it's where, you know, in the UK we kind of take the piss a lot, don't we? And it's we moan a lot, like, you know, you've just been moaning about the gym. But you know what I mean? And he's made this study, and this isn't ever like it.
That's mad.
But he's saying, yeah, you know, people in the UK were quite downbeat anyway. And there's some sort of correlation, so they're kind of, well, you know, things are bad, but they were quite bad anyway. Type thinking, yeah. Maybe go and Google it. It'll be. I'll just take my word for it. Go and research. Yeah, that's what he said.
What's his name?
I don't know. I'll find out. We can maybe post it. I'll try and find it.
I'll have a look at that.
Post it in the link.
But I think, is that all veteran? Like, is that? I wonder what they're like. Again,
I don't know. He's obviously done a lot of research, and he's just said that in the UK, the culture is maybe, we're not all as happy as maybe Americans are in general. So then I'd put a bit of post-traumatic stress in there and stuff. it might be more so the levels don't drop as much. You know,
Yeah.
maybe Americans beforehand were up here and now they're down there. Whereas in the UK, we might have only been only halfway anyway.
What is the not cure, because cure's not the right word, but what's the like? If people are suffering from PTSD, like what do? I mean, you go to the doctor, and then what does the how?
I don't know, to be honest. I've got a few friends who do suffer with it, but I don't know personally a lot about it. I think the big thing that I've got from it, from the friends I have got who have suffered with it, is be open and talk to someone. You know, don't suffer in silence. Go and seek help. Go to a charity. Go to a doctor. Tell friends. Tell family members about it. That's the big one. That seems to become apparent from anyone you speak to.
Yeah, like groups.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got some friends who are suffering with it, and the big thing that they always say is help them is getting help. Speaking to someone, because trying to do it on your own, it's hard. You know what I mean?
Or speaking to people like who are also sort of like a little bit like Alcoholics Anonymous to
like
some
a
extent.
buddy system.
Yeah. Very good.
Mate, we put out a little thing. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about as well? Because I put out a little.
Questions.
Well, a few things. Obviously, the conversation's gone a bit everywhere, but I just wanted to again thank everyone for listening, and any guests that people may have to send them through. But then I also put on the podcast today, because people seem to really enjoy the podcast we've done about motivation and about just various topics. So that's why I was keen to kind of have a chat, just me and you, and it was also our 10th podcast, which I thought was quite nice. But then I also asked social media for some questions. One question was, how can I get out of my funk in a constant cycle of eating shit, feeling shit, and looking shit?
Goodness me.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because everyone goes through those cycles. I mean, a big one, I think I've spoke about it with you before. For me, doing this podcast has helped me get out my funk a little bit.
Has it actually? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I went through a breakup in December there. And
right.
It was tough for me, and I was thinking, I drank a lot, wasn't getting in the gym as much. The motivation speaking is great, and I love it. But I was a bit, I need something else. I need another project. I need another challenge. And I thought, you know what? Right, come on, let's get myself stuck into this. And then doing this, it's a hobby, but it's an enjoyable one. I'm back in the gym, feeling good, and
I think hobbies are big as well. Yeah,
hobbies and goals, because it's easy to go. I think who was I talking to the other day? But I got into a great routine. I was taking me vitamins in the morning. I was having me breakfast, and me vitamins, carrying around a bottle of water all day, going the gym. Drinking loads of water throughout the day, getting through my emails, got loads of talks lined up. It was all going great. And then it might just be something knocks you out your stride, and then you're like, ugh. And then you start to forget to take your vitamins, and you're not drinking enough water, and you start feeling a bit shit, and it can all quickly, go downhill.
I'm trying to find the book that I read about. I think I mentioned this on the motivation podcast, because it's. I genuinely dislike books on motivation, because I think it's just it's a tricky topic, but
it is the basics though. I'm a big believer in when you're stuck, you kind of stuck in a funk, as she's put it. It's the little things, like we said, making your bed, drinking loads of water, having those little, it might be a placebo, taking those little, for me,
like a little win.
Yeah, your little wins,
each day.
And setting little goals for yourself.
Because I think I did talk about this on the motivation one from that book, which I can't for the life of me find, but he wrote in that book that, ultimately, we'd love motivation to come to us like a sugar rush, that you just sat on the couch and then suddenly you're dead motivated. But it comes from sort of like just doing. So as soon as you are suddenly running or suddenly outside, there's something that kicks in that like it's like you've
just got to start.
It just snowballs.
Yeah, you've just got to start, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I think once you do start, other opportunities will come your way. Like this girl said, she's eating shit. Once you wake up and have a healthy breakfast that morning, and then it then sets you up for the day. You're thinking, right, I don't want to eat this chocolate bar at 11 o'clock because I've been good so far. I'll kind of try and maintain it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think just starting doing the little things can help.
Yeah, look, I'm slim as anything, but I've been sort of. I remember during like when I was in the office, just constantly getting Red Bulls and things like that, and chocolate and shit like that. Just, I mean, Jesus Christ! At like 4 p.m, I must have had like 3 or 4 Red Bulls. I was off my nut.
Good, yeah. And
then you just continue, don't you?
But I think the thing to remember is though, everyone goes through little cycles of not feeling great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think just my top tip, if I was going to kind of sum it down to one answer, would be, the little things. Like we said, make your bed, drink loads of water, start the day off as you mean to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Try and just put a smile on your face, even if you're kind of half faking it. Just try and come on, today's going to be a good day.
Yeah. Or even just like 3 goals. So I'm going to, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example, but in our case, I'm going to do 1 podcast today. I'm going to...
Yeah, it could be a lot of people have Fitbits. It could be I want to walk 5,000 steps
actually,
today.
Yeah, it's a good point there, because my missus is exactly the same as that. I'm trying to get up to 10,000 steps, or whatever steps it is a day, and then next minute I'm walking around fucking IKEA 5 times.
Right, so hopefully Charlie is out of her funk soon. You can answer this one. This is from Jay. It says, "Hi, it's Jason. Your podcasts are really inspirational. Any advice on starting one for the first time?"
So September 2017, I decided that on the 1st of January 2018, I was going to launch a podcast. And little old Wickstead, being a little bit too ambitious, emailed some of I think. So I'm just for the context of this question, I'm just giving you a breakdown of what I did first off and the mistakes I made. So I set myself a goal I said, look, I'm going to set up a podcast, which is dead easy to do. Actually, you don't even need to do podcasts like we're doing, where you've got more than one person. It can just be a solo. You can even just do it on your own. Yeah. So a solo podcast where you're talking about, I don't know, it could be Liverpool Football Club, could be whatever, every week. Or you can do it over Skype, which I did. So I had people from America all over the show, 100 and whatever people on the show, which is dead easy to do. Everyone's got a Skype account, and you can buy a £20 microphone off Amazon. Like, that's all you need. You can even use, Apple earphones or whatever. So anyway, October 2017, I decided I'm going to set up this podcast, Stories in Business, the premium business podcast.
Mate, it is a really good podcast.
It is really, yeah. I'm proud of it, yeah. So I emailed about 100 people. I reckon 95 of them probably said no. I've still got the original emails. I'm talking big boys. I'm talking Russell Brand. I'm talking the owner of Four Seasons, PepsiCo chief exec.
You've got to aim big, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen, yeah. I actually got a response off the Four Seasons guy as well. Little top tip as well is emails. People aren't opening emails anymore. Send them a letter. Just write a letter, even handwritten. You can get everyone's address online, even just the company headquarters, and just address it to whoever. So anyway, yeah, so dead easy to... moral of the story is it's really easy to set up a podcast. Sorry, what was the exact question, just so I'm not...
Just any advice? I think you've already... any more?
Yeah, the first ever interview I did was a guy called Turney Duff, who had a cocaine addiction, who wrote a book called The Buy Side about his time on Wall Street. I was shitting myself. I didn't know what to ask. So I had sort of printed out a few questions that I wanted to sort of get the gist of. Interview probably lasted about 45 minutes, and you can listen to it. It's the first ever episode, actually. I have never listened to it back just because I thought I don't want to hear the conversation. It was a good interview. It was good. Skype's got an internal recorder, so you can record your interviews. I'm waffling on a bit here, but I would say just type in on YouTube how to set up a podcast. Actually, I've got some videos which I produced on the Stories in Business on how to set up a podcast. So just type in Tom Wickstead, how to start a podcast.
There you go.
I could have...
Mentoring as well. Nice one, Tom. My mate Robbo asked me, do you still get pain in your leg that's no longer there? So I think he's referring to phantom pain. So a lot of amputees can get phantom limb pain, where you can still feel the leg after it's gone. And lucky enough, no, I don't get any of that no more. Yeah, I've never really had it actually, but sometimes I can still wiggle my toes now.
Can you?
Yeah, obviously I can't, but in my head I can, and I just get kinds of pins and needles. But
what about when you wake up? Like, what's it like when you wake up? Is it sore?
No, I don't ever get that either. You know,
No.
some people said you never forget when you go in the toilet and jump out of bed thinking you can walk, and I'm like, no, like I wake up and know that I've got one leg. You know what I mean?
It's black and white, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But I do get some pains with my leg if I've been walking around a lot, if I've been doing a lot of running, a lot of training. It happened last week.
Just like on the
on the stump. Yeah, I was in the gym a lot last week, doing a lot of squats, a lot of running, a lot of shuttle runs, and I spent a day on crutches last week. So I do get pain, but it's not phantom limb pain. It's just more pain, just because I'm quite an active person.
Is that because just the skin's rubbing on the actual?
Yeah. Just like you get blisters, I got just pain with the stump.
And so the company that make your leg, do they mold it to the end, to like the stump at the end?
Yeah, listen, it's nothing wrong with anything about the leg. It's just my active lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, if I just lived a normal 9 to 5 life, it would not hurt me, I don't think, at all. But I'm a bit of an idiot and like pushing the boundaries and doing stupid things, so it does hurt me sometimes, but that's the kind of... That's the way I like it. Any advice for someone who's considering trying to join the Royal Marines?
Definitely don't come to me for that question.
Yeah. Quick answer to that, I'd say, was just all the fitness-based stuff is just, 3 to 5 mile runs, and your body weight exercises, lots of press-ups, lots of pull-ups, lots of sit-ups, and get quick doing your kind of 400 metre runs, your 800 metre runs, your interval training. And you've got to want it. The mental side, you've got to go there wanting to be a Royal Marine, and don't give up. And then we've probably got time for one more.
How many did you get?
I've got quite a few. This one's quite a big one. It's hi guys, the last podcast was great, thanks for sharing it. I would like to hear what you both guys' thoughts are on mental fitness. As we move out to the classic mental health season just after the festive period and resolutions begin to get stretched, I would like to see awareness kept going for it through the year, and how you guys are with very mentally robust and how you guys who are very mentally robust and well-rounded individuals in life and in business view the following topics. What percentage would each of you allocate to the mental side of fitness? For example, 30% mental, 30% physical, 40% nutrition. I'd say I'd probably split it, like I would put it in thirds, because I couldn't say what's more important, your physical health, your mental health, or what you're putting in yourself. Your body is like a car. If you're putting petrol in a diesel car, you're not going to get far. So we've actually already touched on some of the points. If you're drinking Red Bulls, eating chocolate bars, physically you're not going to feel great, and then you're not doing nothing mentally, that's going to make you feel a bit shit as well.
Yeah.
So me personally, I would say it's 33.
I would say that one of the biggest things for me that I found helpful was probably about 2 years ago. I started properly reading, like not autobiographies as in like some heavy sort of books. And actually that was one of the best things I think I ever did, because a lot of the stuff that you actually feed your brain with is just utter shite. Like on Instagram, Facebook, even the news as well. Like I stayed away from reading the news for a long time. I used to always read newspapers for some reason. I've stayed well away from it. To the point where, I think I've talked about this before, to the point where I got rid of my smartphone and had a burner phone.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
Because you've got, like, I have to have this smartphone now with work. I just have to. Got emails, bits and pieces like that. We've touched on this before, but the amount of WhatsApp groups and things like that of just stuff, just nonsense, just coming into your...
What kinds of books are you reading then?
Everything. I've read some heavy stuff. You've got that Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
I started off.
It's called Sapiens. It's called it's a good book.
Sapiens. Sorry, yeah. Another everything from it would tend to be more business side. So what they don't teach you at Harvard, MBA in a book, those sort of things. I think
You read the Jordan Peterson one as well.
Yeah. 12 rules for
What
life.
would you put that then down to if you're going to say that? Obviously, that would come under mental. What would you put the percentages down to then? Physical, mental, and nutrition. I'm sitting on the fence clearly with me 33% for everything. What would you go for?
I would probably put the mental side a little bit higher than fitness. Just because I think, I would put the mental side of things a little bit higher than the fitness, because I just think that there's so much to say about what your brain takes in and how you view life, I think. So I sound so fucking wishy-washy there, but
No, it's a good point you've made. He's put a few points down, this guy, so I'll just answer a couple of them. If you do not have a physical job, then how important is physical and mental and nutrition and nutritional health?
well, I tend to.
Sorry, before you say that, this is something which I think you're best placed to answer, because for me, I've always found that really hard to answer, because I've always had a job in the Marines, or when I became out the Marines and a motivational speaker, I've enjoyed working out anyway. So I've always been fascinated to know how people do try and lead a physical life if they're working a 9 till 5, like he's kind of alluding to.
From my experience, it hasn't really worked that well with me. So I should really go to the gym in the morning, but I don't. I generally sit in the office the whole day. I don't really move about. And so you can get into this rut of like, because your body's not used to moving, you're so knackered. You know, if you've got a 30-minute commute either side, in between working 9 to 5, you've got that 30-minute either side, it's an hour. The amount of times I've just come back from work, driven that half an hour, which for some reason I just feel really, really tired at the end of it, and just sat down on the couch, ate my dinner, and then not really done anything for the rest of the evening. I think it's really hard to get out of that cycle, because you just sat there and you know, there's something. Yeah, it's a difficult question really, because I mean,
the easy answer is, you know, it is so important still to maintain good physical health, good mental health, good nutritional health. Just because you're sitting behind a computer all day, you shouldn't neglect any of them. You know, just because you're sitting at an office doesn't mean you can't eat healthily all day.
Yeah, but there is something set from my experience of working in an office. There's something that how sat in an office all day in that same environment just knackers you out, and then you don't want to then do the. And then you've got the commute either side. Yeah. And fuck me, if you've got to get on a train and have to deal with public transport as well. I've never been. Yeah. I remember when I worked in London for a bit. And just that tube commute was just...
it can just drain you, just that.
And then you sat in an office, sat in a cubicle all day. No wonder you don't... did I want to do exercise after that? You know, not a chance, no.
He's also put as well on one of the things that it's not a question, but it's a point he's made about, he sometimes thinks that, you know, like a large portion of people utilise gyms and physical training to mask other issues rather than address them. Which I don't know is maybe true, but I think for me, it's something I always ramble on about, and if I've said it before on the podcast, I apologise, but my kind of famous line is, you know, I always say you don't need to get blown up in Afghanistan to realise how shit can be. So people probably do mask, you know, how hard the life is, because again, life is tough, whether that's, you know, a marriage breaking down, a relationship breaking down, a death in the family, financial issues, hating your job, whatever it may be, life is tough. So I think there is a certain degree of people masking the problems whilst in the gym or whilst out running. But my kind of opinion on that is, well, good effort for trying to do something about it. You know, yeah, you might be feeling shit on your run or in the gym. Hopefully you'll feel a bit better once it's over. But people are going out for a run, or they're trying to eat healthy to try and get through that hard period. So yeah, maybe people are trying to mask things especially with social media as well, you know, trying to mask it, that the life is okay on social media, which isn't always healthy as well. But I think the thing to remember is, like the first question, when you're stuck in a funk, you have got to do those little things, you know. I don't know, go for a run, you know, eat a good meal. And I suppose you could argue, well, yeah, you're trying to mask it because your life is a bit shit at the time, but at least you're doing something about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. I also think that, like, why do people go to the gym? Like, I reckon probably 95% use the excuse. I don't want to sound awful here, but the majority, I think what I'm trying to get is the majority of people go to the gym, including myself, because of how other people will then view them. Like, I think that's, yeah. I think if you really asked, maybe it's more higher on the male side.
You mean aesthetically?
Aesthetically, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's 95%, I don't think. I mean, I've never had, you know, I've always been in okay shape, but I would never say I've had, you know, a Men's Health, you know, kind of body that you see on a magazine. But, and the gym I go to, listen, it's not a corporate gym. You go in there, you put your £2 in a plastic bucket, and you, like a little plastic sweet box thing, and you go in, and it's just a load of lads in there. There's no pose, and there's no this, there's no that. It's just a bunch of lads doing a boxing circuit. And I go because it's a good laugh. And I feel good at the end of it.
Yeah.
For me, personally, the aesthetic side, I'm not really bothered about having a bloody 8-pack or something like that, you know what I mean? I've got bloody scars all over my body and I've got one leg. I couldn't give a fuck that much how I look, do you know what I mean? I stand on a beach with scars all over me and with one leg next to a guy with bloody, you know, an 8-pack. So maybe I'm the odd one out there, but I think a lot of people do go to feel good about themselves.
There's something to be said of, like, I went last night, and when you come out, there is something to be said if you do feel so much better once you've done it.
And the thing I'd say to that, people say, Matt, maybe your mask and stuff is, and again, it probably overrides all of those questions we've got asked, or a lot of them, is don't just go to the gym then and train, because going to the gym and just training and you don't really know what you're doing can be pretty shit. Set yourself a target. So sign up for a 10k run or a 5k run. Gives you something on the horizon to look forward to. You need to train for it. So you go out on your little runs, you'll start eating a bit more healthy. You'll start reading books on 5k training, 10k training. So you kind of hitting every nail on the head there for setting yourself a goal and doing the little things.
Yeah.
And it's not as if you've got to go to the gym and thinking, fucking, I don't know what weights I need to lift or how heavy they should be. You know, read up about it and set yourself a target. Like, I've signed up for a 10k run in April, so I'm kind of starting to do a bit more running now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you should do it as well.
Okay, no.
That's what you need. You need people around you to say, come on, give it a go.
There's something to be said for buddying up and things like that, or having accountability partners. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I did the 3 Peaks last June the 21st. June the 21st, is that the longest day in the year? Yeah, it is. June the 21st. And I didn't train one bit, but it's good. It is good. Yeah, it is good. It is good. There's something to be said for doing it in groups and things like that. 100%, rather than just on your own. Yeah. Is there any other questions that Dr. Grant needs to
address? No, there's just loads of comments, to be honest, saying how much people enjoy it. And they've enjoyed just our chats like this, and that's why I thought 10 podcasts in, it would be good to have a little bit of a roundup.
So we've got Harry Finley, your mate Paul Weiss.
Yeah, we've got, if anyone wants to kind of give themselves a little teaser of the next podcast, if they Google Paul Weiss and on YouTube, it's called The Commando Who Refused to Die. That's a documentary about Paul, and we got him on the podcast. Yeah, it was fascinating. Anyone who likes the military as well, I think, would really like that. He goes into a lot of stuff in the military.
He's an absolute weapon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a funny guy. We talk about, I think, even having sex as an amputee comes in there once or twice. Prince Harry's wedding gets mentioned. All the stuff he was doing in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
I think people would like him.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it.
And then looking forward, we've got a guy who's rode the Atlantic. He's cycled 22,000 miles and climbed Everest.
Yeah.
A guy called James Kirchell.
Yes.
He's coming on. We've got loads of guests lined up. I don't want to give too many away.
Yeah. That's the thing. As soon as you start saying them, you don't want them to sort of...
Yeah. But it's good times. It's exciting times. And it's all been possible because we've got the feedback of people enjoying it, which has given us a bit more of a buzz to keep on going with it.
Yeah.
And let the good times roll.
The bloody good times roll. Love it.
I think I do like that social interaction with people. If they have got questions for us or they do want us to talk about particular topics, then please get in touch.
Yeah.
If you do enjoy it, keep on sharing it on your stories on Instagram. That's always nice to see. And on Twitter.
It's lovely. Yeah.
And it sounds a bit corny, but it is really nice when you're sitting there or having a coffee or you're at work and you get a notification saying, "Tom, Andy, love the podcast."
Yeah.
So
people taking the time out of their day to even write.
Yeah. It does
20 words, I think. It is really nice. And also, just before we finish, I should also add that we both put a tweet out today asking people for a favour if they know what can I say this about the offer? Yeah. So we do the podcast from the front living room, from your front living room, don't we?
Yeah.
And we're looking for a space that maybe people have available, or somewhere in Liverpool city centre, or anywhere in Liverpool really, that maybe we could use as a space for the podcast instead of your front room, because I have to bring all the equipment and blah, 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 blah. And so we all do this for free. Like, this is I suppose ultimately costing both of our time, but we do it for free. It's, it's fine. We enjoy it. So the caveat to that is that
we want it for free.
No, but
there's a lot of things I think we could offer in return. This has grown all the time. Like I say, some of the guests we've got lined up are pretty significant. So the sponsorship side of things are there. I also think the work I do in schools, the mentoring side, I think there'd be a lot we could do. We're getting young people in and showing them about the world of podcasting. I'm doing a lot of mentoring as well, which I'd be happy to kind of work into what we're doing. A lot of my motivational speaking could get worked into things. There's a few other ideas I've got, I think, which we could work really well with a company or someone, an organisation who has got office space or office studio space. That
just a small little room, that's all we need. Yeah.
So if anyone has any ideas or contacts that they think might be interested in buddying up with us and helping kind of have a concrete home for the Legged podcast, that would be awesome. Yeah. And I think it'd definitely be worth a chat, as I think there's lots of things we could offer. Yeah, 100%. The email address is theleggedpodcast@gmail.com. And keep subscribing, passing the pod to your friends, liking on YouTube as well. Yeah, the YouTube channel, share all the videos, all that, really do appreciate people reaching out as well. Thank you very much. Let's rock and roll.